funniest thing someone's ever paid you to do? When I was 17, my friend Tyler ran up to me in the school parking lot and shoved a $100 bill into my hand. I thought he owed me money. Instead, he said the weirdest sentence I've ever heard. I need you to pretend to be my girlfriend for exactly 2 hours. I stared at him. What? My grandma thinks I'm secretly joining a monastery. I blinked. A monastery. Long story, please help. Apparently, Tyler had recently started baking, gardening, and spending his weekends volunteering at the local animal shelter. His very religious grandmother had somehow decided these were clear signs that he planned to become a monk and abandon his future family. To make things worse, she was hosting a giant family dinner that night to talk some sense into him. His solution? Show up with a girlfriend. A very obvious girlfriend. One that would convince everyone he had absolutely no interest in becoming a monk. I should have said no. Instead, I asked one question. Can I be dramatic? He looked desperate. Please don't. I took the money. That was his first mistake. I showed up at his house wearing the brightest red dress I owned. I carried flowers. For him. When he opened the door, I squealed, "Tyler, my darling," and hugged him so aggressively that I nearly knocked him backward. Inside were his parents, grandparents, 3 aunts, 2 uncles, and what felt like 40 cousins. Every single person stopped talking. I kissed his cheek. His face turned the color of ketchup. Perfect. His grandmother looked thrilled. "Oh, thank heavens," she whispered. Apparently I had already won. But I wasn't done. For the next hour, I committed to the role like I was trying to win an Oscar. I held his hand. I called him sweetheart. I asked if he'd remembered to drink enough water today. I pulled out homemade cookies and announced I'd baked them because my poor baby gets cranky when he's hungry. His grandmother looked ready to adopt me. Then I made my second mistake. I asked how they met. His grandmother smiled. "We'd love to hear your love story." Tyler looked horrified because we hadn't made one up, so I panicked. "Oh, it's adorable," I said. "We met at the animal shelter." Everyone leaned in. He was bottle feeding an abandoned kitten. Several people said, "Ah," and then he cried because the kitten sneezed. Now his grandmother was tearing up. I kept going. He said he wanted a future filled with kindness, gardening, and homemade bread. The room exploded. His grandmother burst into happy tears. One aunt started clapping. A cousin yelled, "He's finally found the one." Tyler looked like he wanted to disappear. Then his grandmother stood up. "I've prayed for this day." She disappeared into another room. A few seconds later, she returned carrying a small velvet box. I knew immediately this was going badly. She opened it. Inside was an antique ring. "This has been in our family for 4 generations," she said. "I want you to have it." The entire room gasped. Tyler looked like he was having a medical emergency. I nearly choked on my cookie. "Ma'am, I can't." "Nonsense," she said. "You clearly adore each other." Then she hugged me and whispered, "Thank you for saving my grandson from becoming a monk." At this point, I was trying not to laugh, but it got worse. So much worse. One aunt started discussing wedding venues. Another asked how many children we wanted. Someone else suggested a spring